അതന്നെ വണ്ണം കഴിക്കണം.
This is one.
Wasim will start. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. This is Dr. Dinesh here. I'm the principal of an institute called Institute of Gems and Jewellery. I think many of you would have possibly known this institution. Many of you wouldn't have known this institution. So I'm just here to give a brief of the institution, what we actually do, and why did we actually go for a program like this. Okay. As I told you, the institute is Institute of Gems and Jewelry. It is located in a place called Malappuram, Kerala, to be precise. And we give courses on jewelry designing, jewelry making, gemology, jewelry management, and various areas. We have 1 year courses. We have close to 3 year degree programs. We have been associated as a skill training partner by the Jain University. We are being awarded with the award called Center of Excellence by the Gem and Jewelry Skill Council of India. Okay, so keeping all this in mind, when we were going through this pandemic situation, we were finding a lot of teachers who needed a bit of motivation. That too, a bit of motivation from expert speakers. That is when we came across a few experts in the field of education, few experts who could actually come and help us with giving us tips and tricks on our teaching abilities. So, with that being said, we have three guest speakers today. So, let me invite the first guest speaker for the day, Dr. Vinay Kumar. Now, I'll give a brief introduction about Dr. Vinay Kumar. Dr. Vinay Kumar has a very vast experience, more than 35 years of service towards the education industry, towards the academic forum. He's been associated with the leading forums in Tamil Nadu. He's been associated with many leading training organizations, and he's also the founder of VB Skill Training Center, which is in Tirupur. And he's done more than 1,500 programs all over the country and also in abroad. So I take this opportunity to open the session with our first speaker, Dr. Vinay Kumar. Vinay sir, you're on. Vinay sir, you can start with your session. We regret for the inconvenience. Please give us a minute's time. There is some connectivity issues here. We'll just start in a minute.
അതല്ല അമ്മ ഫോണിൽ അവിടിലേക്ക്
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We've had some technical issue. There's some voice problem with Dr. Vinay Kumar. Now, we'll go ahead with the second session because Dr. Vinay Kumar would be joining us after the next session. Next session would be actually held by Mr. Vijay Kumar. Vijay Kumar is a retired army personnel and he's a veteran army personnel. He's been with the education corps of the Indian Army for a very, very long time. Okay, so it's indeed my proud privilege to welcome Mr. Vijay Kumar, who can actually enter into this particular event. And I'm giving the privilege of sharing the screen. Sir, Vijay Kumar, sir, the session is yours. So you can just give a brief intro and then I'll share the video that you had actually shared it with me.
Can I start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're very much audible.
Okay. Good afternoon, all my dear friends, brothers and sisters. Today, I am here to give you a small lecture on motivation, how to motivate our children, those who are not interested to learn, how to motivate them in the class and how to motivate them for their studies. I would just want to have a small video on teachers, please. Video, please. Dinesh, can you put the video, please?
Yeah, I'm connecting.
Okay.
Is it visible?
Yeah. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you. That was a video for the teachers. I just wanted to make it clear that teachers are important for all the children. From the video, that must have been very clear for you because they make the difference. Teachers, they make the difference. So we will directly go to the subject. My subject is motivation. Can I share the screen?
Yeah, the privilege is on. You can share the screen, please.
Say this is defeating disinterest with motivation. It's very much clear from the heading that I am not going to give you some motivation only. How to make a student who is not interested in studies, make him or her to get him motivated for his education, for his studies. See, I will tell you one thing. All the persons are having ideas and pictures within us. What we do is we have to get them, make it out. We'll first go for the definition of motivation. That is the urge that moves us from within to satisfy our needs. Meaning, this may be the definition, but to make you understand, I will tell you in simple way. Suppose I want to go for a movie today. I will bunk the class, I will cut the class and go to the movie, because my inner idea or my inner picture is more for seeing that picture, film, or that cinema, because I am so much interested in that thing than attending the class of today. I am very well know that if I bunk the class and go for the cinema, I may be caught and I may get a punishment. But that urge is less than the urge of seeing that movie. So if I am happy to see that movie, then I will be going for that thing. I am motivated for seeing that movie only. So that is a risk. Even then, I am going for that thing. So it is the main motivation. Now there are many types of motivations. First one, I will tell you, motivation to study. If a child wants to study, he will study. Okay. So make him or her want to study. Actually, the inner urge, the inner desire of a student to study will be there. But we want to make him or her to study. How to do that? I'll just give you one example. In the second story of a building, there was a fire broke out. A fire broke out in the second story of a building. One watchman who was there throughout the night, he fell asleep and he was sitting on a chair. He was sleeping. The fire was a little far away, and the fire force came and started shouting, "Hello, come down, come down. The fire is there. Come down, come down." He didn't hear it, and somebody went near him and requested him, "Please come out, come out." He never responded. He was sleeping. Then the senior officer of the fire force came to him. He started awakening him. He started awakened him and told that there is a fire and please come out with us for your escape. He immediately woke up and ran away from the building and he was escaped. So this is the thing what we have to do in children. We have to awaken the children to study. They are there. They know they want to study. They know how to study. But we must give them the awakening thing for their study. Help children meet their needs. What is the need of a children? What is the need of a child to learn? See, all the children will have the energy to learn or the energy to do a thing. But the only thing is that we will have to realize the thing and make them understand that. Children know that if I don't study, I will fail in the exam. So we must give them the importance of examinations, the importance of grades, the importance of passing the exams. And of course, what will happen if we fail and what will happen if we pass with high grades in the exam? That will be your feeling happy or worthy of living thing in the future. You must make them understand this thing. For this thing, I will give you a small example. A class teacher knows all the names of her class students of the class, all the students, and she knows the names of each child's parent also. So what happens when a parent comes to the school for parent-teacher meeting or something like that, the teacher knows this is the parent of that particular student. She knows this is the parent of that particular student. And in this way, the teacher had an acquaintance with the students and the parents. So the students had interest in learning the things from this teacher. Next year, what happened? Another teacher was the class teacher, and that teacher hardly knew half of the names of the students, half the students' names, and she never knew whose father, whose students is. So what happened in that class? Many students showed disinterest in their studies of that teacher. So that kills the motivation of the students. Similarly, teachers can do wonders in the class by just giving them or asking the students to give an encouraging gestures for the correct answer, something like that, and these things will go very far in future. Psychologists did an experiment with 3 classrooms. In class A, the teacher was asked to give the teachings in a robotic manner, without moving to the students, without doing any action, anything. And in B, the teacher was asked for doing some involvement. In the 3rd class, that is class standard C, the students were very much friendly with the teacher, and the teacher was very much friendly with the students, even inside and outside the class. After 1 month, the psychologists checked the improvement of the students in sections A, B, and C, and they found all the students of section C, where the teacher was friendly with the students, was very high and very good result. So this means the teacher should be a motivator in all fields. Non-judgmental appreciative comments. Usually, what the teachers do is, we write in the progress report, well done, good score, keep it up, all these things. But instead of doing all these things, if you write the good qualities of the student in that will be a motivation. Just like, your handwriting is very good. All the words were spelled correctly in your annual exams. Or you can write this also, in your drawing class, the colors selected by you are very much lovely and it is appreciable. This kind of comments will motivate the students. Similarly, you can just say, if a student is asked to read a paragraph, you can just say that you read very well, but the mistakes are to be told to that student, calling him or her separately. Next is fun. Of course, it's a very good motivator. You can have fun in the class, like acting, any drama or any other thing can be enacted in the class, and you can have debates, quiz, and other things. Divide the class into various groups, and you can have competitions among the groups, and that will be fun for teaching. Only the teaching subjects are to be given for them. Make it safe to fail. Why? Why do you say it is safe to fail? Because supposing a student is committing a mistake, just don't scold him. Just don't ask him to write it 100 times or 10 times. Just tell him, this is the mistake you have done, and you come to me, I will correct your mistakes anytime. So that thing, in that case, student will think that, oh, I did not know the answer, that's why I wrote it wrongly, and the teacher now calls me to the staff room and makes me understand the thing. Similarly, if you find some student are making mistakes or they are copying others, just tell them, go and tell them that don't copy, you write whatever you know, and I will teach you what the correct thing is. Don't worry, I am not going to give you any punishments or anything like that. Next is there are 4 things which are to be given as tips for you. The first one is change your method. See, all the teachers will not be having the same method of teaching, because even though we learn the same method of teaching in B.Eds, M.Eds, etc., teachers differ in their methods. After 1 or 2 exams, you can just find out the reaction of the students. So you can change your method to make the students motivate. No judgment or ridiculing. See, a prejudged thing is always very bad. In normal things, normal schools, what we do is we take it granted that this student is a weak student, therefore he cannot study and he will score only less marks. Similarly, getting low marks is also a good, you cannot say a good thing, but you can motivate him or her to get a good marks. Don't ridicule in the classroom for getting a low mark. Similarly, no comparison. All the students are different in their tastes and habits and their works. Therefore, you cannot say that this student is getting more marks than this student is not getting more marks than the other student. Okay, next one is coach the underachievers. Of course, even after giving a lot of motivation, lot of classes, changing your methods, etc., there are some students who cannot come up to the standard of your. So give them a small extra coaching in their spare time as well as in your spare time, so that they also come up to the level of other students. There are 2 things, success identity and failure identity. Now, what is success identity? I will tell you. Every child has some potential. It doesn't mean that the student is coming to a school, he is coming there only to learn the bookish knowledge. See, some child will be having a potential for music, some child will be having potential for sports, some child will be having potential for drama, etc., etc., etc. So you have to find out the child's potential and improve in that field along with the academics. In some of the schools, they focus only on academics because they want good result in their final exams. They want good results in their for the schools, good name for the schools only when they excel in the academics. But that is not to be taken as only one thing. Now, what I am going to say is, if you have done all these things for your motivation, even then there will be students who will not be coming up to a good standard. For them, you can have a sanction and patience. Sanction and patience. In that case, you have to have the discipline inside the class. Of course, discipline inside the class as well as outside the class also. Discipline means even if the teacher is very much friendly, the students should not take it granted that they can do anything in the class, they can have any marks in the class, etc. So for that thing, you must have a discipline inside the class. Next one is sanction means you must have three things in that. Number one, bribery. You can give that is possible only in the case of small children. You can give some toffees or some prizes if they do good things in the class. The underachievers can be motivated in such a fashion that if you learn these things by or within a week, I will give you this one. So that is called a small bribery. Then similarly, you can give rewards. Rewards means give them extra marks for you have done good handwriting in this class, therefore you can have this extra mark, 1 or 2 marks like that. Then comes sanction. Suppose you don't learn this, you will not be permitted for going outside to play in the class, outside the class. In the game period, you will be alone sitting inside the class because you haven't learned this. Like that, you can give some sanctions also. These things are all time-bound things. Therefore, a teacher must have patience. Patience to make a child come up to the standard. So that is the last thing. Now I'll have one more video for you to highlight the motivation. Dr. Dinesh, can you please show the video, national anthem video?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sir, just a minute. I'm just trying to connect it.
No problem. No problem. Okay. See, in this video, what I wanted to highlight is two motivational factors were there. The first one, the child coming from the school, she wanted that eatable thing to be purchased because others were eating in front of her. That is one motivation. Second one, then when the national anthem was playing, the old man with one foot was standing, and the children there who were shining the shoes, etc., they were motivated by his act, and they started standing and respecting the national anthem. So all these things are motivational factors. Anything can be made as a motivational factor. With this, I end my session. Thank you very much. Dinesh, please take over.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for that insightful session on the tips and tricks, especially on the aspect of motivation. Now, we have our next guest readily joined with us. Our next guest would be Dr. Saday Kumar. He's got vast experience of close to 40 years of teaching experience. He's been into the academic council. He was into the CBSE trainers panel. He has been working in India and abroad. He's been working in most of the countries abroad. So it gives me immense pleasure to invite Dr. Suday Kumar to take over the session. Sir, the session is yours.
Hello, good afternoon to all, and thank you for the nice words about me. I'm really happy to meet you all in this session here. Let me extend my thanks to the Institute of Gems and Jewellery and Eranad Knowledge City Technical Campus. They have arranged this session, and let me extend my heartfelt thanks to these two great institutes of Malappuram district, because I belong to Malappuram district and I know about these institutes. Now, before I start my session, usually I used to give a couple of reminders to my participants. And here's the first reminder. Like when I was conducting a session for the newly inducted teachers, young teachers, sometime back, in the ice-breaking session, I asked the participants what they expected from the workshop. And most of the participants were very young, new to the profession, and maybe first time in a workshop. And so everyone stood up and gave an answer like, I expect this from this workshop, I expect that, I expect this, that, blah, 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 blah. But when I reached a particular bench where a couple of teachers, experienced teachers were sitting, they told me, sir, I've been working here for more than 15 years. I'm a trained teacher and I've been doing my job well, and I'm being appreciated by the parents. I'm being appreciated by the management, by everyone. So I don't think I'll get anything new from this workshop, he said. And even the next one sitting to him, who had about 20 years of experience, had the same feeling that they are not going to gain anything from the workshops like this. So what I would like to tell you is, what I'd like to remind you is, when these two teachers started their teaching career some 20 years back, they had only some 3 or 4 teaching aids with them: the blackboard, the chalk piece, the textbook, and maybe a stick in their hands. So these 4 things they were teaching the children. But now what is the condition in schools? You have got all the smart classrooms. You have got the smart boards where you get live internet access, and you have got ready-made software for all your lessons. And so it's quite easy. But then you started the career with a blackboard and chalk piece. So let me ask you back whether that experience is of any use to this classroom teaching. So sometimes experience becomes a liability. That experience of blackboard is not going to help you in using the smart board. So what you have to do is you have to unlearn what you have been learning and then relearn the new things. It happens. In other words, learning never ends. Learning ends only when the life ends. Having said so, I'm not going to teach you anything new in this session. Please remember that. I'm nobody here to teach you anything new in the academics, in the education field. But my idea is to sensitize certain issues, day-to-day issues that we come across, so that we'll discuss solutions, we'll discuss different tips. But I don't want you to accept the tips as they are. You'll have to customize those tips to your benefit. You'll have to customize because there is something called a beauty spot. There's a beauty spot for everyone. Like I'll give an example, then you'll understand what this beauty spot is. You might have heard about David Beckham. David Beckham was a very famous footballer, English footballer. He was famous for scoring goal kicks from the corner. He was an expert in taking the corner kicks. When he kicks the corner ball, straight away it goes into the post. You know where a corner kick is taken from. From there, when he kicks the ball, it just swings almost like a semicircle, then goes into the goal post. This was his style. He was very famous for scoring goal from the corner kicks. So I asked him one day, how do you do that? Can you teach me the secret? Then he kept the ball there and he showed me a particular spot. See, this is the beauty spot on the ball. So I'm going to kick here on the beauty spot. So straight away it will swing and go into the post. He did that. So I kept the ball there and asked him to show me the beauty spot. He showed me the beauty spot and I kicked in the same way he was doing. But the ball went outside. So I asked him, how is that when you kick, the ball goes into the post, and when I kick, it goes outside? What's the secret? Then he said, see, I'm showing you my beauty spot on the ball. You'll have to find out your own beauty spot. Then only you'll be able to kick properly and score a goal. So likewise, whatever tips I'm giving you here, these are my tips, or rather the tips taken from the talks or books by eminent personalities. What you have to do is you'll have to make it, you'll have to customize it according to your need. You know, times are changing very fast. Everything is changing, and it is a must in the field of education as well. You know, there should be change in the education field. Otherwise, there won't be any growth for the nation. Now, the basic thing is that you're all teachers. That's what I understand. And we're all professionally qualified teachers. You might have done your training, professional training from various colleges, universities. For school teachers, you would have done B.Ed or M.Ed or any such courses where they teach you everything, including the Bloom's taxonomy, everything. You are well equipped for what? To teach in a closed classroom. When the children sit in front of you in a classroom, you are able to teach them. You can talk to them anything regarding the subject. You are free to talk to them. They listen because they are younger to you. They are mostly they are teenagers. Even if you make a mistake in the class, it's noticed only by these teenagers. It is not being recorded. It is not even passed on to anyone else. You can make your own corrections there in the class. That's all. But now, due to this pandemic situation, due to COVID-19, all this classroom teaching has been stopped everywhere, whether in college or school. The classroom teaching has been stopped, and then online teaching has been introduced. But the teachers who were qualified and trained to teach in classrooms are suddenly asked to teach online. They are not trained for that. They don't know what to do. But somehow, due to the school heads' compulsion, we all started handling the classes online. Now, what happens? What is the major difference you see there? When you handle a class, all the children are sitting at home or maybe lying down. We don't know. But it's not only the student who is listening to your teaching. On the left side, his mother. On the right side, his father. And then auntie, uncles, and even the servants will be standing around to see your teaching. And everyone will have his own or her own comments about the class. The father will say, maybe he's a professional, so he'll say, there are so many factual errors in the teaching. Mother will say, See the language she speaks, full of mistakes. She can't even speak one English sentence without any mistake. And the others, the aunties or uncles, everyone will comment on your dress, comment on your looks, and the way you talk to the children. They'll blame that you're not encouraging the child, but discouraging in a different way. So all these things. Now, when your teaching is assessed by more people than the student himself, we call it the social auditing. Social auditing of your teaching. Because not only one, there are many who are criticizing or who are watching your teaching and making comments. Could be positive comments, I don't know, but everyone is commenting. So it's a sort of social auditing, not individual or not by students or not by the principal of school. It's a social auditing. So today's topic is actually how to overcome this social auditing, or how we can escape from the base of this social auditing. What should we do? Because we are not trained. We are not very much familiar with online teaching. We are doing it for the first time. Still, if we do a mistake, it is known to the whole society. So what should we do? That is the question to be answered in this session. It's a very short session. I won't take it too long. And before I go to the next point, let me tell you, mainly there are four types of people, four types of teachers. Uh, four types of teachers. One is the efficient type, the next one is excellent type, and the next one is effective type. You know, you might have seen teachers working in schools, good institutions with very, very high academic background. Maybe there'll be a lot of degrees behind their names. Graduation, post-graduation, PhD, and so many degrees. They know everything about the subject. You ask them anything, they'll be able to answer. Any student can ask them any doubt at any time. The answer will be at the fingertips. Even otherwise, the administrative matters, they are efficient. Everything's okay. And the next one is excellent teacher. You would have seen such teachers in your institution. What they do is they're just excellent with their subject, and they're excellent in their teaching as well. They've got a lot of humor in their talk. They know how to sing. They know how to dance. They know how to act in classes, which means that they are just attracting the students into their classes. Okay, the students don't want to miss the class of such teachers. So that is, the first one is efficient, then excellent. But see the third one, effective. Why a teacher has been appointed in a school? He should teach the children the concept, which means that the children will have to use it later in their life. Second, he should be able to pass in the examination. Third one, he should be able to produce a good result for the school. And so, from the point of view of the school authorities or parents or students or from the society's angle, an effective teacher is not the one who cracks jokes or enacts drama in the class, but who actually produces good results. Whether he is well versed in all the topics, whether every answer is on his fingertips, it doesn't matter. Whether he has got a lot of degrees after his name, that doesn't matter. Effectiveness is in producing results. Like the children should be able to understand the concept, they should be able to reproduce the correct answer at any time, and the school should get a better result every year. So everyone connected with an education institution is looking for an effective teacher. Remember that. Not efficient, not excellent, but effective teachers. So how to become effective in the online teaching? I'm giving you a few tips here. As I told you earlier, these tips will have to be converted to your convenience. Remember that. Customized according to your needs. Now, first, you'll have to plan properly. What is planning? See, think of the total contents you'll have to teach on the next day. Okay. And, maybe it's for 40 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours. The whole content could be broken into pieces, like how long will you talk? How long will you write? How long will you draw? How long will you demonstrate, etc., etc. Proper planning that is to be done. If you fail to plan, you're actually planning to fail. That's the meaning. So the mind map, you like to keep everything ready in your mind. Mind mapping is over, and then next day you're starting your classes. Okay. So there, the most important area is presentation. What is presentation? How you present the matter. When will you start? How will you proceed? Where will you end? All these things should be done correctly, number one. Second, your expression, your dress, your expression should be, it should never be nervous, remember. Okay. Uh, you should be confident. That confidence should be seen on your face always. And then your dress, that they should be very neat, because that is one area many people at home make comments. And then the language you speak, the language should be appealing, pleasing, and correct. Your accent should be excellent, and the words, phrases, and accent, everything should be perfect, because you are setting an example to the students. And next one, props. You can use any sort of props in the class. Only thing is that you'll have to show it near the mic, near the camera, so that everyone will be able to see it properly. Now, you can have demonstration of any experiments, anything. And then the next one is dramatization. This means, children are prone to seeing things than to listening to advice. Remember that. They'll imitate very easily what you do, not what you say. So showing something, enacting something will make it easier for the children to understand the concept. And I know teachers usually are very good actors. They act well in front of the students, in front of the parents, in front of the school authorities, in front of the inspecting team. I've seen that for many years. They're good at acting. Now, the next point is assignments. The assignments should be given regularly, but assignments should not be just to make the children remember things and then forget things. It should be interesting. Assignments should be interesting. It should be challenging. It should be motivating. And it should be supporting experiential learning. Only when it is connected with experiential learning, they'll remember the things. And my secret tip for you is, as far as possible, involve the parents also in the assignments. It's very important. I don't know whether it is practical in all the areas, but only when you involve the parents in the assignments, they'll understand the difficulty of learning. So it is better to involve them, so that the number of negative remarks about your teaching or about the online classes will go down, will be less and less as the parents are involved. Now, the main purpose of these assignments is to make the children imbibe and retain the concepts in their mind. So likewise, let's make this online teaching a fun. Let's make it a process. Let's make it a new system, but it should not be treated as a problem. Let it be a solution for the problem, because due to this pandemic, we cannot have regular classes at least for one more year. So let's enjoy doing this. Let's like the new system. Let's take it as a good solution for this pandemic situation. And along with this, there is one more tip. This is about the online classes in general, but individually, you'll have to be a better teacher every day. Your teaching, today's teaching should be better than yesterday's teaching. Online, I'm telling you. And so what to do, how to measure it? You cannot listen to the social auditing. You cannot listen to the principal's advice. Okay, you cannot listen to even the children's comments, because they're not sitting in a classroom. You should know that. They'll be lying down or they'll be sitting in the dining hall in their house. So, we cannot take those comments, but you can judge yourselves. For this, I advise the SWOT analysis. What is SWOT analysis? S for strength, W for weakness, O for opportunity, and T for threat. The first two, strength and weakness, they are internal, individual. Whereas the third and fourth, opportunity and threats, they are external. You can look around and find out. Now, strength is actually an internal resource or capability helpful to achieve the desired goals. That's a strength. It's individual, personal, your thing, your strength. Even weakness, it's your weakness, not the weakness of the whole community. An internal barrier to achieve the desired goals. Whereas an internal situation that could provide a competitive advantage is the opportunity. That's external. And external situation which could damage the scope for attaining objectives is the threat. I'll just try to illustrate this, then it'll be clearer to you. Strength means it could be your physique, your body. You've got a very good body, or you have a very good voice. You've got a very good language. All these are your strengths. You can make use of it. The next one, weakness. You are very fluent in the language. You are very strong in the language. But when you stand in front of the students, when you stand in front of a crowd, you are unable to talk anything because of shyness. It's a weakness. You have to go for a correction. It's personal. These two things are personal, strengths and weaknesses. But opportunity, just see, I'll give an example, then you'll understand. I'll take an example from any movie. Okay, when you're on the road, suddenly you see a thief coming and snatching the handbag of a sweet girl. What will you do? You just look here and there, and to see a bike with the keys on. You take the bike, ride after the thief, take the bag back, and give it to this sweet girl. Okay, now that was just an opportunity, external opportunity. You didn't expect it, but you did that. Okay, you saw the thief, you got the bike, and so you chased the thief, got back the bag, and you gave it to the girl. And the girl was thankful to you. And even the bike owner was happy because it was used for a noble cause. That was an opportunity. You are making use of an opportunity. Now, the next one, threat. Threat means, I'll give you an example from another movie. Like, you are a football coach. Your team is taking part in a tournament next week, maybe after 10 days. Okay. So from tomorrow onwards, you have arranged for a coaching session every evening, 2 hours or 3 hours coaching for these footballers, selected players. But suddenly, due to the low pressure in the sea, it's raining. It's raining cats and dogs continuously for 10 days. There is no practice at all. So without any practice, you are taking the team to the competition, and you naturally you lose. Okay, in the first round itself, your team is out But what will you do next year? You won't keep this coaching session till the last week. So that's a lesson for you. So our idea is to capitalize on strengths. You'll have to improve. You got to go on improving your strengths. Then to overcome the weaknesses, whatever weaknesses you find, you'll have to overcome them. You'll have to get rid of the weaknesses and make it to your strengths. The next one is wherever you see opportunities, grab the opportunities and go forward. And the last one, to survive threats, you'll have to avoid the threats. In anticipation, you'll have to find out all the threats and you'll have to avoid them. Now, how do you find out the strength, weakness, opportunity, threat, etc., etc.? I'm just giving you a few questions. You can try it for yourselves. And now the first one is strength analysis. Just try to answer these questions now. And then after a month again, after a month again, after a month again, likewise you can do. Not only this, even for weakness, even for opportunity, even for threat. This is a sort of analysis, monthly analysis. And if you want, you can go for even fortnightly analysis. See the strength analysis. What are your unique skills or qualifications? You can mention that. It's your unique skills, not anyone else's. What do you do better than anyone else? What unique resources can you access? What do people praise you? Why do people praise you? What achievements are you proud of? What values do you believe in? What skills or knowledge you lack? Your weaknesses. What skills could you improve? Still, there is chance for improvement. What do you avoid doing out of fear or shyness? What do others see as your weakness? What resources are you deficient in? What are your negative work habits? What personality traits hold you back? Then opportunity analysis. What opportunities to learn are open? You have to open your eyes and ears to your surroundings and try to find out the answers. What situations can you take advantage of? Do you have people to help advise you? What others' failures can you exploit? Have you any solutions to others' complaints? Is there any unfilled need around you? What obstacles do you currently face? What are your competitors doing? These are the threat analysis you find around. Open up and see around, you'll see. What obstacles do you currently face? What are your competitors doing with these obstacles? Is the demand for your strengths declining? What trends could harm your interests? What threats arise from your weaknesses? Now try to answer these questions at regular intervals and then improve your strengths, reduce your weakness, improve your opportunities or grab the opportunities, make use of the opportunities and then avoid the threats so that you can become better. Okay, now before I wind up, I'll just give you this particular incident. Now, having learned all these things, please don't try to assume things. Be realistic always. Like the word assume is making an ass of you and me. You can see that. That's why I've given the words like that. It's making an ass of you and me. So don't assume things. Why I'm telling you this is the other day when I went for the morning walk, I saw a group of doctors going for the morning walk, all highly qualified doctors, and they were slowly walking when they noticed a limping man coming from the other end. A limping man was approaching them from the other end. So one doctor suggested, see the way he walks, see the way he limps. There is something wrong with his thigh bone. Then another doctor said, no, no, no. See the way he drags the legs. It's not with the thigh bone, it is with his knee. Then the third one said, no, it is not with the knee. I think ankle. Ankle is in trouble. And so I think we'll have to go for the ankle treatment. Anyway, we'll find out when he comes here, we'll ask him. And then they waited. That limping man approached these doctors. So the doctors asked him, what happened to your leg? Why are you limping like this? So he said, oh, you noticed that? Yeah, I am forced to limp like this because is there any cobblers nearby? My slipper strap has come off. Now you know what happened. That is why he was limping. Nothing wrong with the bones, but they jumped to their own conclusions. They were assuming things. Don't assume things. When you get any tips like this, you think about the tips and customize all these tips and then use it according to your needs. It should help you. That is the aim. What you do today can improve all your tomorrows. That's the saying. So just remember that always. Now, let me thank the Institute of Gems and Jewelry once again, Eranad Knowledge City Technical Campus once again. And let me extend my heartfelt thanks to Dinesh and Adira. Both of them helped me a lot in the technical know-how because I am not a techno savvy. These slides were made by them, and I owe my thanks to them. And if you have any doubts, clarifications, or suggestions, you can always contact me at any time through the coordinators of this program. Well, thank you once again. I also thank Mr. Akhil for having arranged this function so well. With this, I think I'll end the session. Thank you.
Hello all, hope you've enjoyed the first two sessions. Now we have our third guest with us. I'm actually very sorry that we had some issues with the connectivity there. Now we have cleared it and he's back here with us. Dr. Vinay Kumar is here joining with us live. And in between that, I would like to remind that this program has been initiated by Institute of Gems and Jewelry and Eranad Knowledge City Technical College. And here, with regard to Institute of Gems and Jewelry, I had given you a picture, whereas Eranad Knowledge City Engineering College is a very famous college here in Malappuram district, approved by AICTE and affiliated to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Kerala Technical University. They have various courses, a really big campus, and one of the most talented faculty members in the lot are there. Okay, so with that being said, and also I would like to express something here. This program is going on very successfully because of the efforts of one person whose name I should definitely mention here. It is because of Mr. Akhil, because he's taken enough efforts to actually conduct this program in a very smooth manner. So thank you, Akhil, for your support. And Akhil is the academic head, and he's also the center head of KTB Educational and Charitable Services, and he is actually a very innovative and passionate guy. So hopefully he's joined over YouTube and he's monitoring your YouTube chats, and possibly you'll get to meet him at the end of the session. Okay, now without further delay, let me invite Dr. Vinay Kumar. Vinay sir, you're online.
Am I audible? Okay, very good afternoon to all of you. Am I audible to all of you? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm extremely sorry that there was some problem, some technical problem. As Dr. Sadekumar mentioned, we are not technical savvies, so we are not able to do anything. If the COVID attacks the technology, then we cannot do anything else. If it comes to us, it's okay. We can do something. We can go to the doctor and then do something else. But when it attacks the technology, then I don't know what we have to do. So I'm sorry, there was a delay. Initially, I was the first speaker, but I was not able to come because of some technical problems. I'm sorry about that one. First of all, let me thank the Institute of Gems and Jewellery and the Eranad College Knowledge City for inviting me as one of the speakers. I also would like to thank the organizers, the individuals who do a lot of things on this one. And I missed the first session of Mr. Vijay Kumar, and I was able to see Dr. Sadev Kumar's session, a lovely one. Now, let me take you to a entirely new session, actually. Let me share my screen with you now. Now, I'm going to talk about dyslexia. Previously, people were not knowing what dyslexia was. And after one or two movies, especially Amir Khan's Tare Jahan Se, then people started knowing what dyslexia is. Now, I being a teacher, having taught in various schools and was a principal of one of the schools for more than 25 years, I found out certain things about the children having dyslexia. So I thought, why not talk to the audience who is mainly comprising of all the teachers, whether you are teaching in the school or the college. I thought this would be slightly helpful to all of you. Now, there are quite a lot of learning disabilities. That is what we call them, actually, learning disabilities. But you see, if a person doesn't have an eye, we don't call him a blind, come here. We don't usually say that. What we usually say is he is differently abled. In the same way, these persons, those who have dyscalculia, dysgraphia, and dyspraxia, and also my topic, dyslexia, these people are also, they don't have any disability, but they learn in a different way. First of all, I would like to clarify that please don't call them as disabled persons. So these are the main drawbacks of some of the children, or even some of us, we have this. See, a fear of maths. I don't like maths at all. It's not because I have dyscalculia, maybe because of one of the teachers who taught me in primary classes, because he was beating me quite a lot. So I started hating maths. So that's a different issue. But there will be children, those who have problem with numbers and maths, and also handwriting problem. And there will be some problem with the movement and the coordination, and some problem with the language learning. Now, what I'm going to talk is about dyslexia. First of all, let's understand what dyslexia is. Dys is trouble, and lexia, you know very well, lexical learning. Lexia is words. So dyslexia is connected with the trouble with the words. Trouble with the words, either to speak or to write or to read. All sorts of problems the children or the adults will have. This dyslexia is not just in the children alone, it's for the adults also. Even among adults, we can see dyslexic people. Now, dyslexia is medically talking, it's a neurological disorder, it's something connected with the nerve. And it's a learning difference, as I told you. It's not a learning disability, but it's a learning difference. And the combination of ability and difficulties will affect these people's learning process, either in reading or writing or in spelling or whatever it is. But one thing is sure, whether they are very poor or they find difficulty in reading or writing or speaking, they all have certain strengths that we may have to find out. Now let us see what dyslexia is not. Some of us assume that it's a visual problem. They are not able to see the blackboard or the board properly, and that may be the problem. It's not. It's not a visual problem. It's not lack of intelligence. The dyslexic people, most of us believe that they lack intelligence, which is not true. They don't have that lack of intelligence. It's then some of the teachers believe that this lack of effort from the children or the adults that they are not able to learn properly, or some they may feel that it's a developmental lag. It's not any of these things. The only thing is that it is very, very, very common. It's very common. Dyslexia is very common. Nearly 5 to 17.5% of the population has dyslexia. It's not responsive to standard reading instructions. It's not that they are not able to read properly or anything else. I have a group of persons here. I don't know whether you can identify these persons. Do you know the first person, the second one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth? All very, 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 very famous personalities. If you can recollect who they are, if you can find out who they are, good, very good. If you can find out all the 8 persons, you can get a 5-star and you can eat it from my side, no problem at all. But my question is not who these persons are. My question is, what do these people have in common? This is my question. Still, if you are not able to find out, I'll give you the names also. Of course, this is the great heavyweight boxer, Muhammad Ali. Of course, famous Kennedy and Leonardo da Vinci, the Mona Lisa artist. And this is the famous author Agatha Christie and Albert Einstein, Napoleon Bonaparte, Thomas Alva Edison, Winston Churchill. These are the person's photo for whom I brought here onto the screen. But there are quite a lot of famous personalities whom I wanted to bring, but because of lack of time, I did not. Now, all these persons are very famous, and all these persons are dyslexic. They were dyslexic, actually. It's a small collection of very successful dyslexic persons. I stress the word successful. Even though they are dyslexics, they were successful, actually. Dyslexic people are visual and multi-dimensional thinkers. It's not that they will learn the way we teach them, but they would like to learn the way they want it. So the teachers, those who go to the class, they teach in a class of about 25 or 30, and we always wonder, I taught all the children the proper way. I have the satisfaction of teaching the children in a very nice way. And why is it that 5 or 6 children are very, very dumb always? Why do they act like this? Why do they not catch up or come up to the level of my teaching? We always wonder. But the reason can be many. One reason can be, don't get angry with me, I'm not a good teacher. That can be one of the reasons. The other result can be, or the other reason can be, that the children are not getting what they want to get or the way they want to get it. I want to teach in my own way, whereas the child is expecting in some other way. So that can be one of the reasons. So the solution, what is the solution, that we will see at the end. But the only thing is that one thing is very sure, all the dyslexics are not intelligently lagging. They are very intelligent. Let us see the next one. See, how do we find out a dyslexic from others? They just like if I have a COVID, I know what are the symptoms that I can have. It may be fever, it may be headache, or it may be vomiting, it may be breathlessness, anything it can be. And those can be the symptoms for the newly found out COVID. But dyslexia, it's a bit difficult to find out. So the smaller age that you find out, the better it is, because we will be able to rectify that in very short time. And the symptoms can be these things. They often seem different from others. Those dyslexic, just because they are not able to come up to the level of the other students, they always act in a different way. As a teacher, when you go to the class, you will be able to find out these special children, because they sometimes are overactive, hyperactive, sometimes they will be very, very dull, and sometimes, most usually, they will be seeking your attention because they are not able to do anything with the academics. So naturally, the teacher will not be able to pay the attention to the child. So the child seeks attention from the teacher. He may do something. In one of my schools, where I was the principal, there was one case. A student, a small boy who was studying in 5th standard, just with his hand, he just banged the desk and broke that desk. It was a wooden desk and he just broke. No one believed that one. And I knew that he was just seeking attention from the teacher, who was going to another student quite often. And that was the tendency. And that is the tendency of these kind of children. They are something different. They show no interest in reading and or writing. These children, suppose as a teacher, you ask the child to stand up and read, they will hesitate. They will pretend as if they have something and they will avoid reading. And writing is not at all in their dictionary. They don't like to write at all. They will hesitate to write. They will have difficulty with the fine motor skills with their hand-eye coordination and all those things. As children, they will be learning how to button up the shirt, and they'll be using the scissors, you'll be using the spoon, they'll be trying to tie the shoelaces. It's very difficult for these children to do because they will not have the adjustment with the fine motor skills. They will not be able to coordinate the things properly. And one other symptom that we can find is the pencil or the pen grip will be something different. They will use the fist sometime. I have seen some children using the fist like this and writing as if they are writing with a nail. Or even they catch something different like this, their grip will not be the usual grip as we do. And one other thing is that they look very clumsy. If I go to a class and if I see a boy or a girl acting very clumsily, I can just guess there's something wrong with that child. First, that comes to our mind is the child mentally retarded? That comes to our mind. The behavior will be in such a way sometimes. They are always restless and they are distracted also. You are teaching for 40 minutes in a class and they will not be able to attend to you for more than 10 minutes or 8 minutes. And their attention span will be gone. Usually the attention span of the child is 11 minutes, but these children will not have that one, much less than that. And they will be very restless after that. They will start disturbing the other students. But remember, all these symptoms don't occur to everybody else. 1 or 2 can be seen in somebody. Sometimes nothing can be seen also. So to find out, it's very difficult. It's a sure case. It's a fact that more than 10% of the population, as I told you before, now the latest trend is 17.5% of the population are dyslexic. The only thing is that no one finds out, no one recognizes that this child is dyslexic. How do we recognize the dyslexic actually? I'll start from the children from preschool standard onwards. The preschool children below 5 years, we'll be able to find out those children having dyslexia. They speak later than most children. They will not have the speech properly, the way of speaking. They will not have that. They have the pronunciation practice problems, and they have slow vocabulary growth. an average child, how many vocabulary, how many words he should know. These children will not be knowing that one, or very often they will find very difficulty to get the right word, and they will have difficulty in rhyming words. Suppose I say pen, what is the rhyming word? Immediately you can say another word rhyming the word pen, but these children will be having difficulty in telling a rhyming word. Double learning, they have trouble learning numbers, alphabet, days of the week, colors and shape, which a child is supposed to learn preschool itself. That means within the age of 5. Before coming to first standard, the children will have learned all these things, numbers. Now the schools have a lot of competition. If one school is teaching 1 to 50 in pre-KG, the other school will think, oh, that school is teaching 1 to 50. We will teach up to 75. They will start teaching 75 because it's a commercial institution, all the schools. And so they want to do something better than the other schools. They come out with a lot of stuff to give into the heads of the children. So the children will have problem with learning numbers, alphabet, days of the week, colors and all. And they will be extremely restless and easily distracted. Small children, it's very difficult to keep them quiet for some time. And they will have trouble interacting with the peers. They will not be having good friends. And in case they have good friends also, all the friends will start running away. No, I don't want friendship with him or her. They will just run away because they will not be able to have good friends. And as I told you, fine motor skills will slow down, will not be developed at all. Now let us see a bit aged children, aged between 5 and 10. They're slow to learn the connection between letters and sounds. The teachers start teaching the sounds actually. First standard, second standard, third standard, they start teaching sounds, but these children will have very difficulty in getting the correct sound and confuses basic words, run, eat, want. When you say run, sometimes the child will be jumping, will not be able to recollect suddenly what running is and what jumping is. So they will have that problem. This is the next one is the main symptom that I have been watching in children. Make consistent reading and spelling errors, including letter reversal, B and D. The places where they have to write B, they'll be writing D. And when they write T, instead of turning the curve towards the right, they'll turn the curve towards left. And inversion, instead of writing M, they will write W. Instead of writing felt, they'll be writing left. And substitutions, instead of house, they'll be writing home. And one other thing that we always see among these children is the spacing of the words. Either it will be too cramped, or it will be one word here and about 4 or 5 centimeters away the other word. Either too much of distance between words or cramping way. They will be writing like that. Then transposes number sequences and confuses arithmetic signs. They will not be knowing what is plus, what is minus, what is multiplication, what is division, and all those things. Everything is confusing for them. They will not be able to remember facts. Suppose you tell them something else, remember these things, but they will not be able to remember the thing that you tell now. They may be able to recollect and give it back to you within 5 or 10 minutes. But afterwards, if you ask them, they will not be able to remember what we told 5 or 10 minutes back. They cannot remember. Slow to learn new skills. They will not be able to learn anything new. They relies heavily on memorization. They will not be able to learn the concepts. They will not be able to. So what they do is they will try to memorize, but their memory power is very, very, very less. And that's why those children get mostly 0 in the class tests and examinations. They will not be able to score marks. The so-called mark, in case we see as a criteria of knowledge, these children will have 0 in knowledge because our criteria is the mark. So they will not be able to score any marks. Poor children, and they will not be able to learn anything new. Impulsive difficulty planning, they will not be able to plan anything else. You ask them to do something else. You ask them to give them a paper and ask them to make a paper boat. They will not be able to plan how to go about. First, they will start doing it and they will be stuck in between. After halfway through, they will not be knowing what they are doing. They'll be stuck in between because they don't know how to plan properly. The unstable pencil grip, as I told you, the grip of the pen or pencil will be very, very, very clumsy. Trouble learning about time. They will not be able to tell the time properly. And if you just tell them, come after 5 minutes to me, they will not know what that 5 minutes is. And they will not be able to do the week of the day, the days of the week or the months of the year. They will not be able to remember. And poor coordination, unaware of physical surroundings, prone to accidents. The one way that we can test them is to give them instructions. Give them number of instructions. Go out of this room, turn right, and go about 5 or 6 steps, then take a left turn, and you'll find a door, close the door, and then go straight and turn right. You will go to this place. If you tell like that, this child will be nowhere, will not be able to find where he or she will have to go, will not be able to coordinate things like that, will not be able to take instructions. And that's why they are prone to accidents at this age. So let us see the age between 11 and 15 years, the teens and preteens. They reverse letter sequences, soiled for solid, left for felt. Many words are like that. They'll be confused with the spellings of those things. They cannot learn the suffixes and the prefixes, the root words, and other spelling strategies. The English teachers with much difficulty will be teaching the rules and regulations of the certain spellings, but they will not be able to remember anything else. They will have their own spellings. They will write their own spellings, which are all new inventions. They will avoid reading aloud. You see, at the age of 11 to 15, they're a little bit grown up and they're a bit shy also. They know very well that they are not able to read properly. So in case the teacher asks them to read aloud, they will hesitate, mainly because there are people watching you and they are going to tease you. So they will hesitate to read. And they will have trouble with the word problems, especially with maths. If you tell 5 plus 5, they have 10 fingers, so they will be able to just add and then tell 10. But when you have a word problem, Hari bought 5 marbles and Ravi bought 5 marbles. Totally, how many marbles do they have? They have problem doing it because they will not be able to understand that particular problem, and also they will not know the symbols, plus and minus and all those things. Difficulty with the handwriting. Usually, the people of dyslexic will have very poor handwriting. It doesn't mean that those who have good handwriting are not dyslexic, and it doesn't mean that those who have bad handwriting are all dyslexic. Not like that. But most of the dyslexic will have poor handwriting. Awkward, fist-like, or as I told you, avoids writing compositions. They will write one-word answers, but they will not be writing one sentence or paragraph answers. That's why most of them fail in written examinations. You ask them orally, sometimes they will be able to tell, but writing, they refuse, they hesitate, and they dislike. Slow or poor recall of facts. As I told you, they don't remember anything else. They cannot recollect things. The things that happened just now, they will be able to tell, but the things that happened some time back, they will not be able to recollect. I have seen a child who had forgotten his dearest friend's name, was not able to recollect that name at all. It happens sometimes. Difficulty making friends. Forget about forgetting the names. They will not have friends at all because nobody will be able to cope up with the special or different behavior of these kind of children. Trouble understanding body language and facial expressions. They will have a problem with the body language of the teacher, and also the body language of those children is very difficult for us to understand, because we don't know whether they are having that expression coming from the heart or the mind or simply showing it outside. We will not be able to tell that. We'll go a bit up, the teenagers and the adults. The adults also are dyslexic. As I tell this one, I recently read one article. There is one Steven Spielberg. It's a famous filmmaker of USA. He was a dyslexic, but he understood, he realized that he was a dyslexic only at the age of 60. At the age of 60, he could understand that. And Jennifer Aniston, one famous TV artist, she came to know that she was dyslexic only at the age of 20. Amitabh Bachchan's son, Abhishek, is a dyslexic. He came to know about it only very recently. There are quite a lot of people. Steve Jobs, he is well known all over the world, but he is a dyslexic. Pablo Picasso, dyslexic. So it's not that dyslexic are the people who are down there always. They have intelligence, but their own intelligence, not the intelligence that we want them to have. That's the main difference. So the adults, they continue to spell incorrectly, frequently spells the same word differently in a single piece of writing. Suppose you write about India. India is my country. India is very large. If you want to write that, one place they will write the spelling of India sometimes correctly. Another place they will write the spelling of India in a different way. The same word they will spell in different ways because they will not be able to coordinate things and they will not be able to remember things. See, when I tell all these things, I know there are some teachers who are trying to specifically point out some children in their classes. I know that one. Yes, there will be dyslexic in your class also. Avoids reading and writing tasks. They don't want reading or writing tasks. They don't want that one. Talking, of course, okay. If it is nearby the teacher, talking to the teacher, talking to the children, yes, they do it. But reading, they don't want. Writing, they don't want. Then they have trouble summarizing. Even the adults, they cannot summarize things. Suppose I attend a meeting. Now, this particular webinar, after attending the webinar, when we go back home, someone asks, what was in the webinar? What did speaker one tell? It will be difficult for some of us to summarize and tell the facts or the points to our friends. That is one of the things that the adult dyslexic will have, summarizing things. Trouble with the open-ended question in tests. See, the people will write, let it be small students or the adults, they will be able to write small answers, a closed-end question answer. If I ask, are you a man? You will be able to write yes. But suppose I ask the question, what do you know about man? They will not be able to write it because it's an open-ended question. You will have to write quite a lot. It's very difficult for them to write. So closed-end questions, yes, they are ready to do it. Otherwise, no. Weak memory skills, again, that continues right from the childhood. They continue. Still, they are not able to memorize anything else. Difficulty adjusting to new settings. You are getting a job in one of the companies, one of the offices, you are going there, but you are not able to adjust there because you cannot adjust with a new surrounding. Work slowly, according to his or her own ability, his or her own pace, he goes with the work. And naturally, the employer will not like this kind of workers, they sack them. Poor grasp of abstract concepts. The real concept itself, they are not able to understand, and that abstract things, never. They are not going to understand at all. Either pays too little attention to details or focuses on them too much. Sometimes you are telling a story to a dyslexic person. Sometimes what happens is that person very, very minutely will listen to you and ask about 100 questions to you, in such a way that you will not feel like continuing because it's irritating. This can be one of the symptoms. Another can be the dyslexic whoever it is, whether it is a child or a teenager or an adult, will not be interested to listen to us at all. When we talk, if somebody is listening to me, I'll feel like talking. Otherwise, I will not feel like talking. So the person who is sitting near me, if he is not able to listen to me, if I feel that his attention is not on me, I will not feel like talking. And that happens to them. And misreads information. The information that we give in writing, sometimes they don't read properly. So this is a general thing. It's a multi-sensory. Always remember, we remember 20% of what we read. When we read something else, we remember only 20% of that one. 30% of what we hear. If someone tells us something else, this is what happens in the classrooms, in the smaller classrooms. The teacher comes and then blah, 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 blah will talk. So the students hear and they take in only 30%. 40% of what we see. Suppose the same teacher does an experiment in the class with the explanation. You see what happens? He can hear, he can see. And so he takes in 50% of what he sees. And 50% of what we say, when they say, when they see, when they hear, when they read, when they do all these things, then 50% you can have. 60% of what we do. Suppose the same experiment you are asking the child to do, then they learn 60% of what he does. But always remember, a child or a person can grasp things 90% of what we see, hear, say, and do. If we do all these things together, the understanding capacity is more. And that's the main reason the multiple intelligence comes into play in the classroom teachings. We teach in the class in the way that we plan, but we don't teach as the children want it from us. We don't go as the child wishes us to teach, because we are teachers, they are children. We will teach as I do. That's all. Let's see. I'll tell you something else. Now, all these things are the symptoms. Generally, we talked about dyslexia and we saw the symptoms of dyslexic. Now, let us see. We cannot stop this one without telling what is the remedy. You talked about all these things. What is the remedy? The remedy, there are quite a lot. A bit difficult to bring them to the level of the others, to the standard of others, but definitely possible if you take interest. Refer the student to an expert who can diagnose through a psychoeducational test to confirm the IQ level. The IQ level of the dyslexic will be very low. There is a biological age and the intellectual age. The biological age may be 15 years, a student who is studying in 10th standard. But if you see the IQ level or the intelligence age, it will be about the age of a 6-year-old child. So a 6-year-old child, a 6-year-old mind is trying to learn a 15-year-old syllabus. It's not tallying actually. And that's the problem comes, because we always see only the biological age and then promote the children to the next class. That is a problem once. Find out where they stand and start from there. A counselor or a child psychologist will be able to find out where the child stands as per his IQ level and can give a detailed report to the teacher or the parent. And then the teacher, if she or he is interested, can teach that child from that level. As I told you, a 15-year-old child studying in 10th standard cannot cope up with the 15-year-old child's syllabus, because the intelligence level is a 6-year-old child's level. So we'll have to teach the 6-year-old child's syllabus to that particular child. So we have to start from there only and then bring them up, and then we'll have to reach the level of 15. Sometimes they'll go fast and reach up to the standard of the others also. One other remedy is one-to-one teaching. You cannot have the dyslexic children in a class of 25, 1 or 2 children having dyslexia. You will not be able to concentrate on those children. So definitely, if you want the children having dyslexia to come up with the others, come up to the level of the others, sure, definitely you should have one-to-one teaching. Otherwise, you will not be able to. Use multi-sensory approach. As my previous slide suggests, use all the aspects, combine several methods of teaching, visual and auditory and all those things. The teachers, you're all teachers. I think the audience is comprising of all the teachers. You know what multiple intelligence is. There are 8 intelligences in each one of us. Sometimes I may be able to listen to a teacher while talking too much. Sometimes the teacher, when he or she sings, then I'll be able to find out something more. So our intelligence level is not the same in everybody else. According to this intelligence, if the teachers teach, I'll be able to understand. That's the main reason in the lower classes, LKG, UKG and all, the teachers, they don't stand in attention person and tell children to teach ABCD, A, B, C, D. They don't do that one. They sing A, B, C, D. They sing and sometimes they dance. And you know what happens? The children enjoy, they sing with the teacher and they learn. And that's the main reason even now we remember ABCD very nicely. How many of you remember what you learned in standard 7 or grade 7 or grade 6? You will not be. But LKG and UKG we remember very well. Use phonics, the sound method. Teach them the sounds of the letters. That is one way of making them remember. Engage a trained remedial teacher or a special teacher. A special teacher not meant for a mentally retarded child, but a special teacher who can take care of dyslexic children. And allow to present assignments through different media or ways. See, we have a tendency of going and telling the children, tomorrow write an essay on how you spend your COVID holidays. Write an essay of 3 pages. And all the children will have to write the essay for 3 pages and then bring it back. But why don't we allow, according to their standard, some dyslexic children will not be able to write 3 pages. So allow them to present the same thing in a different way, maybe in PowerPoint presentation way or something else. We have to avoid all the negative comments. We'll have to avoid the negative comments because they cannot take any negative comments. If you are correcting their notebooks also, please don't use red ink too much in their notebooks. They will not be able to take that one. If you dictation words and if they make one correct, put that one correct and write a good for them and they will improve the next time. Give clear instructions without any complications. As I told you before, if you want to give instructions to them, don't give a pile of instructions to them. Give one by one so that they will be able to follow. Give one instruction, let them do that one, then go to the next one, let them do that one. Make point-wise explanation. If you are explaining photosynthesis or something else, don't just explain it like that. Show them something else, make them do it also, make them handle the things with them, and then make point-wise explanation, point by point. They will understand it better. They will not be able to write an essay, but they'll be able to write points. But avoid lengthy explanations and answers, as I told you. Arrange occupational and or speech therapy if needed. This is another one. You may have to arrange one occupational therapist or a speech therapist. If the speech is not very clear, you will have to arrange a speech therapist also. And these are all the remedial measures. But more than any of these things, you may have a lot of patience, because it's not a matter of joke to bring a 15-year-old child to treat like a 6-year-old child, sometimes lower than that one also. So you may require a lot of patience also to bring a dyslexic child up to the standard of others. These are the things that I would like to tell you about dyslexia. And this being a very short session, 20-minute session, I thought I'll just make it as short as possible so that I will not be giving Dr. Dinesh much of a trouble of his time management. So I would like to thank Dr. Dinesh, Ms. Adira and Mr. Akhil for coordinating things in such a lovely manner. And once again, kindly excuse me for the delay that happened because of me for this webinar. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Vinay Kumar. It was indeed great having you as a speaker here. So now the 3 sessions are complete. Now, if any of the participants, if you have any questions, you can just put out the questions here. You can just type your questions in the chat box, because unmuting all of you can create a chaos. So if you have any questions to any specific guests here, you can just put it out here in the chat box. We have a lot of thank you messages coming in the chat box. Thank you for the great session. Okay, again, a lot of okay. So we have one question. I think this is to Mr. Vijay Kumar. Mr. Vijay Kumar, you're online.
Yes.
How to motivate students while teaching online?
That's a good question. All the methods which I have already explained can be utilized for that also. Still, you can give them assignments or encouragements through online also. That's the only method for the motivation of online classes.
Right. Okay. Fine. I think we have a question for Dr. Vinay Kumar. Dr. Vinay Kumar, like college level dyslexic people, how can we actually identify them? College level dyslexic people.
Yeah.
How to identify them? That is the question that came in YouTube actually. Now,
okay. See, identifying the parents will have to play a major role here. Actually, they'll have to play a major role, because in school level, we will be able to find out the children's behavior. The children, if they behave in a separate way, the teachers note it down, and they also have discussion with the parents. But as the children grow, when they go to the college, what happens is the relationship between the student and the lecturer, they are no more teachers, they are lecturers. The relationship between the teacher and the lecturer comes down. And the lecturer doesn't bother, I'm sorry to tell this one, doesn't bother about the student, because will not be able to get involved much in the students. But a lecturer, a person who is interested to find out the children, can try to find out the symptoms. If a boy is not doing well, or if a girl is not doing well, find out, analyze what causes the decline in the academics, and then we will be able to find out and discuss with the parents. They are the main ones. See, nowadays what happens is the parents hesitate to take the child to a psychiatrist or a counselor, because they feel that taking my child to the counselor, no, my child is not mad. That's what they say. But a counselor is not somebody to whom a mad person will have to come. It has to be an intelligent person who is not using the intelligence properly will have to come to the counselor, so that the counselor will be able to tap that intelligence properly and bring out the maximum from him. So the parents will have to play a major role. The parents also, if they see some difference in the child's attitude or the behavior or the way they learn, it'll be better if they take them to a student counselor immediately.
school when they
Fine.
behave arrogant.
Okay, thank you. And I think we have one more question with regard to dyslexia. Is dyslexia genetic?
Time and again, it has proved that it can be hereditary. If my father has that, there is a chance for me to have. And recently, but it's not totally hereditary. If I don't have, it doesn't mean that my child will not have it. But recently, the science has proved that sometimes the marriage of close relatives can have dyslexic children. Some kind of deformity the children can have, the children who are born from close relatives, the uncle's daughter, uncle's son, and all those things, they are prone to become dyslexic soon, just like any other disease.
Fine. Okay. We have one more question. I think I'll take this to Dr. Sadhyakumar. How to handle students who are arrogant?
I think they'll be behaving in that way because they don't know what's the meaning of arrogance as you and I do. Okay, so let's make him understand how he behaves differently from the others, that he himself should find out. We'll have to just create a situation so that he'll understand, and then he'll go for a correction. If he's unable to do the correction by himself, naturally he'll seek help from the teachers, friends, or parents.
Great. So possibly we've got a lot of questions still coming in. Since we are going short of time, I'm not taking much of a time here. Okay. So there are many queries with regard to the feedback link coming. I know all of you are very much excited for the certificate. I'll definitely let you know on the feedback link and the updates with that regard. And now we have a special guest with us. We have Dr. Vince Paulser. Dr. Vince Paulser is the principal of Eranad Knowledge City Technical Campus. He would like to share a few words, and once he's done on that, we'll talk about the feedback link. Sir, Vince Paulser, the stage is yours.
Yeah. Very warm afternoon to everyone. So thanks for inviting me for this auspicious occasion and a very good topic on the discussion of this day. Why? Because we are conducting one program or a webinar on the topic of academia. So what is the relevance of this topic? And just I'm thinking of what exactly those kind of things in present day or in the today's scenario, because we are not in the college, we are not teaching the college as a classroom environment. We are seeing our students from virtually. So what is their mindset? And how can we bring to a single platter to talk about and considering what is our theme to be teach and what is the mindset of our students, etc. That and all are the anxieties what we are facing as of now. So in this workshop, so I was watching through the talks from Dr. Vinay Kumar sir, Dr. Sadhya Kumar, and Professor Vijay Kumar. And the insight is how to bring our students to the academia and how to make them and how to make a creativity among them and the learning and teaching, make it as a fun. So that is a wonderful insight I think we all gather from the talks from the eminent personalities. So the faculty development program is considered as a kind of a standalone pedagogy for fostering the knowledge and the professional skills of a faculty member from various streams and the studies, etc. And we have to bringing into a single line process, which will be catering the needs of the students as of now. So definitely this day, all the participants, we all gather a lot of informations, and we all gather how to cater our students of various diversities. And definitely it will be helpful for us to cater the needs of the present day students who are all sitting somewhere else or anywhere else, and we have to bringing it together, and we need to serve the knowledge for the students with various other ways. So I wish the organizers, and because Eranad Knowledge City is also an associative partner for this, and the participants are the faculty members from various sites. Hope that's what I got the information. More than 75 plus faculty members are attending this particular webinar, and hope everyone gathered lot many informations from the eminent personalities from various fields of expertise. So I wish every success in your career, that is in the teaching and the learning process. Make it as a fun and art, and make our students get fruited with. I wish every success for this, and I hope the Institute of Gem and Jewellery uh, will be continuing this particular effort. Definitely we from Eranad Knowledge City also will be supporting these kind of activities during our these lean periods, so that the ultimate fruit will be acquiring, or ultimate fruit will be given, or it will be so called as gaining for our students. That is our so-called as a win-win situation between a faculty member and the students, and get fruited with. I wish every success, all the best. Thank you for giving me an opportunity for this particular seminar, and share a few thoughts with you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, all the participants. Thank you, all the expert resource persons who were here. This wouldn't have been possible without the support of the management of Institute of Gems and Jewelry and the management of Eranad Knowledge City Technical Campus. Both of the institutions has been very kind enough to us to actually give us this platform to bring in guests and interact with all the teachers. Now for the feedback link here, now we have the feedback link ready, but a general trend that we have actually seen in recent times is people just participate in the program just for the sake of certificates. But here that is not actually possible, because in the feedback link, you will have to answer 3 questions from the session. And only if you answer at least 2 correctly, your certificates would be generated in the next 3 days. Your certificates would come to you in next 3 days if you qualify in the test there. That is there in this link. This is not done to penalize you people. This is done to actually give the effort of the experts and the organizers a value for it. So the feedback link would be shared in the chat box and also in the WhatsApp group that we have actually formed. Now the link will be active for only 3 hours. After 3 hours, the link would be deactivated. And for people who actually miss the session, you can actually watch the session on YouTube and answer the link. That's the reason the link is active for 3 hours. Okay, so here I am sharing the link in the chat box. So okay, the link has been shared in the chat box here, and also the link has been put in the YouTube chat box also. In some time, we'll also share it in the WhatsApp group also. Okay, so it was very nice having you, and really thankful to Professor Vijay Kumar, Dr. Vinay Kumar, and Dr. Saday Kumar, and a special thanks to Mrs. Adra, Akhil, Rajiv, and Vasim for making this program a grand success. Thank you very much. Meet you in another innovative program soon. Thank you very much.
Leave it here.